Imagine this, sneaking away in the dead of night, leaving everything you've ever known, your friends, your entire world. You board a small creaking ship, crossing a treacherous sea, all because your beliefs have made you a target. Now, picture yourself in a foreign land, standing before a powerful king. Your hands are trembling, your heart is pounding in your chest. In this moment, you must declare your faith or face betrayal and ruin. This is the story of a desperate escape, a profound test of courage, and a whisper of hope that echoed through history, the call from Abyssinia. In the bustling streets of Mecca, amidst the camel caravans and ancient idols, lived a thoughtful young believer named Zayd. He was troubled. The powerful leaders of the Quraysh had begun a relentless campaign against anyone who dared to speak of one God, of justice, and of mercy. Zayd had watched in horror as his friends were publicly mocked, their businesses ruined, their very dignity stripped away. With each passing day, the shadow of persecution grew longer and darker. Zayd knew that staying meant facing unspeakable danger. He heard whispers from his teacher, a message of retreat. Seek refuge in a distant land ruled by a just king, a man who would listen without prejudice. This land was Habashah, known to us as Abyssinia. At the same time, a young woman named Zaynab, full of life and deep conviction, was making her own silent preparations. She too had heard the call to leave everything familiar behind for the sake of truth. One night, under a blanket of shimmering stars, Zayd and Zaynab, along with a small, determined group of believers, slipped through the shadows of Mecca. They journeyed to the coastal port of Shuaiba, where a merchant ship waited. The sea breeze felt cold, carrying whispers of danger. If the Quraysh found them, capture meant certain torture. Wait. But the fire of hope in their hearts burned brighter than their fear. They boarded the ship and set sail across the Red Sea. The waves crashed against the hull, salt stinging their faces, their hearts pounding a rhythm of fear and faith. The journey felt endless. Finally, they arrived in the ancient kingdom of Abyssinia. It was a strange land with a strange tongue, but it was the haven they had been promised. The weary refugees were soon brought before the court of the king, Ashamah ibn Abjar, known as the Negus. The palace was a magnificent sight, with tall stone pillars, flickering torches, and the rich scent of incense filling the air. But they weren't alone. Delegates from the Quraysh were already there, poisoning the king's ear. These people have abandoned the faith of their ancestors, they argued. They follow a foreign creed. Hand them over to us. But the Negus was a just man. He gave the believers a chance to speak. A courageous woman named Samira stepped forward. She looked the king in the eye and said, "O king, we were a people lost in darkness, worshipping idols, and living in fear. Then a messenger came to us with a message of truth, and we chose to follow it. We do not ask for wealth or power, only for refuge and the freedom to worship in peace." As she spoke, tears streamed down the king's face. He saw the sincerity in her words and the purity of their faith. He refused the Quraysh's demands and sent them away in shame. In that powerful moment, the call from Abyssinia became a universal message of justice for the powerless. Though they were safe, the emigrants faced new trials. They were surrounded by unfamiliar customs, separated from their families by a vast sea, and haunted by the question, would their sacrifice matter? Zaynab missed the scent of her mother's baking. Zayd missed the easy laughter of his friends. Yet every sunrise in this new land was a reminder of what they had endured and what they had gained. They built a new community, holding secret gatherings and whispering words of hope under the Abyssinian stars. Their safety became a beacon, a signal to the world that faith cannot be crushed by force. Eventually, when the path was clear, many returned to join their beloved teacher and the growing community of believers. But the memory of those first nights in Abyssinia, the refuge given by a just king, and the courage of those who left everything behind became a timeless lesson. It taught us that true faith sometimes demands a migration, not just of the body, but of the heart and soul. Today, whenever a person faces oppression for what they believe, we remember the call from Abyssinia. It is a call to hold fast to your convictions, to seek shelter in truth, and to know that justice and compassion can come from the most unexpected places. The next time you feel the world pushing against you, remember Zaynab, and the strangers in a foreign land who held on to hope. The call from Abyssinia still rings true for every soul who dares to believe. If you found this story inspiring, please hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more powerful journeys of faith. Let us know in the comments which part of this story moved you the most. Until next time, stay hopeful and stay faithful.